Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. We came for one man, forget my peace. We take the west side, take on the east. I'ma put him in a cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Not so tough, but mans keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls, let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch me, please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
Genuinely thrilled to have a Miami Herald legend and icon in the building. Izzy Gutierrez, also Greg Cody in with us today on a Tuesday. Very excited to have all of this journalistic firepower in here. Juju and Jessica are here, and we begin with Greg Cody being infuriated at the United States men's gymnastics team.
Yeah, I mean...
Microphone. It's on.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Glad
How
to
are
be
you?
here.
Yes.
Infuriated me, maybe a little bit strong a word, but I'm watching last night, and I'm seeing the bear hugs, enthusiastic high fives, fist bump, bear hugs. They won bronze.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Look, I get it. I get it. The last time the U.S. men gymnasts won a medal of any kind, it was 2008. I know it's been a minute, but still, I thought it was a little bit overboard for bronze.
This is infuriating to me. As hard as these people work to get on a medal stand, and to not have the country be able to do it, and for you to not celebrate third place achievement because your American God-given entitlement is that it's got to be first place or bleep off.
Yeah, well, you're putting words in my mouth. I'm celebrating. I'm happy that they won bronze. Okay. You know, I'm going to watch them on the medal stand.
You should be happier, though. Just like you criticize their happiness for being too happy,
right.
You need to be happier about them winning bronze.
I love you legislating how happy I should be about something.
I love you legislating how happy they should be about something.
Right.
Greg, you are the king of nostalgia, right? What was the old address, 1440?
Yeah,
So
still
to
is.
me,
Yeah.
So to me, this hurts my heart to hear you say this, because this brings me back to when I was 7 years old in 1984. Man, I dated myself. 1984 with my sister, and we're watching Mary Lou Retton, and that was just a seminal moment for me as a sports fan. And this one yesterday, in the middle of the day, a bunch of kids out of school probably watching that. Like, that's one of those that might stick for a while, whether it's gold, silver, or bronze.
The big difference is in 84, Mary Lou won the gold. The men's team won the gold. That's some of the best gymnastics we have ever seen, ever, all time. Also the best Olympic Games of all time. Greg is right. These Olympians are setting a bad example for our kids. No one celebrates third place. You don't do it.
What are you talking? Yes, they do.
What?
Everyone celebrates when you get a medal in the Olympics.
Right.
What? It's a team event. It's points-based.
In team tournaments,
they didn't play for it.
You have the top seed versus the second seed, and then you have, the third seed play the fourth seed for a consolation game for third, for the bronze medal, essentially.
Let me tell you how it works, okay? Christopher and I are doing the Father-Son Olympics on the Greg Cody Show podcast, okay? And in the last event, I got my ass kicked in marshmallow expectoration, okay? I'm not celebrating second place. I'm pissed at myself for not winning, okay? You celebrate optimum celebration, like I saw last night, should be reserved for gold medal winners. If I win the silver, my first thought is, damn, I didn't win the gold. I came that close. If I win the bronze, I'm happy to have a medal, but it is the low-ranking medal. I'm not denigrating what they did. They should be happy. They were way happy.
He is selling celebrate appropriately. That's all he's saying. Act like you've been there before.
Getting on the medal stand is an achievement. There are teams that got very close that did not get a medal, that did not get to stand up there, that we will not remember. We will remember this team because getting a bronze, there was a drought since 2008 where this men's gymnastics team did not medal at all at the Olympics, and they finally were able to do it this year, and they were appropriately very excited to bring home hardware. I was listening to the Women's Game podcast with Sam Ewis, who was on the U.S. women's national team during the Tokyo Olympics. They lost the semifinal against Canada, and she said that the leadership on their soccer team told them, we know this is devastating because now we won't play in the gold medal match, but we need to win the bronze medal because going home with nothing is going to feel much worse than going home with a bronze medal and being able to stand on the podium and bring that medal home and say that you were an Olympic medalist. And so that is why competing for a bronze medal matters, because there are so many athletes that go to these games that come home with nothing. And they were able to stand up there on that podium excited appropriately for how meaningful it is to bring home a medal in this Olympics for the men's gymnastics team.
And the margins in gymnastics, as somebody who's been watching since 1984, are razor thin these days. These teams and these athletes are so good. You can't make any mistakes, Greg. If you watch that, you have to nail every single performance just to get a bronze. If you fall, if you trip, if you hit the knee to the ground, you are out. And that was a heck of a performance.
I wanted to crush my dad when I first heard this take. And I'm like, you know what? I know how I'm going to get him. I'm going to look up the odds and see how low down USA was and see that they should be celebrating to get third. And then I looked at the odds. Japan and China, huge favorites. So you knew they were getting gold and silver. It's just a two-team race, basically, based off these odds for bronze between Great Britain and USA.
Oh, so we won again.
I'm just saying, like, to my dad's point,
we beat the Brits.
They were basically, it was a two-horse race for bronze.
You say it's a two-horse race, but I assume the Cody Podcast Olympics are also a two-horse race?
That's true.
On marshmallow expectoration?
We call it marshmallow hawk twoing.
Well, I don't. But yes, it's a two-man race, so I'm not going to celebrate finish second.
Yes, but the competition, again, is not international. It is not worldwide. It's you and your son on spitting out marshmallows.
And my dad has asthma, and it was his idea to do it.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Has to be the underdog. I mean,
one of my favorite things in all of this stupid genre is the hair splitting on appropriateness of celebration, where Jessica's arguing that was an appropriate celebration and Greg Cody is arguing a little excessive.
Okay, here's a point I would make. In no other sporting event more than the Olympics are there three obvious levels of celebration: gold, silver, and bronze. That's what I'm saying. And here's an example I would use for you. In World Cup soccer, okay, they have a championship game and they have a consolation game. If you win the consolation game, you have won what is tantamount to a bronze medal. Nobody is acting like U.S. men's gymnastics when they win the consolation game of the World Cup for third place.
At the risk of alienating the audio audience, Juju, would you mind just coming in here for a second? I'd like Greg Cody to reenact what would have been the appropriate celebration after winning in gymnastics with his teammate Juju.
Congrats, Juju.
You guys won the bronze medal. I'd like for you guys to show us what that should have looked like if you indeed you found it excessive.
I feel like it's a fist bump, and that's about it. Like, you can't hug each other. Just, a couple of fist bumps. Good job. Let's go to the podium. Let's listen to Japan's national anthem.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a little high five, right?
Okay. So Greg is walking up to Juju, gives a high five.
It's a bit much.
A casual hug.
And then we're going like this because, all right, we're happy.
Yeah.
We're just
You
chatting.
disgust me.
Right.
Why do you guys even like sports? I mean, come on. Really?
I believe that Jessica leads our world in being enthusiastic about what it is she's watching because it's just amazing sports in cubes. It's like, make me care about these people in 9 minutes based on what they're wearing. Give me their story. Make me care about this in 9 minutes. And Peacock is doing a hell of a job of that.
Dan, the Olympics gets me all the time because I never get emotional leading up to it. But when I'm watching, forget it. It brings me right back to my childhood. Yesterday, about 3 p.m., I was pacing in my living room, butterflies in my stomach, nervous as all get out. The women's volleyball team was against China. That's the last 2 gold medal winners. They were going to a 5th set. You've got the men's gymnastics team have to hit on every routine. And then you got the last guy, Billy Gill, with like a Jack Billy Gill over there.
Steve Neterozic, the pommel horse specialist, comes in, and it comes down to the last event, and he pommels the shit out of that horse.
The definition of you had one job. This man was being like, they were looking at him, they were telling him exactly how long until his event, and he had to nail it. One job, he nailed it.
The amount of pressure on these people, as somebody who can tell you, I've been in some circumstances recently just playing games with people where there's information that I know, and then the pressure is ratcheted up because we're just playing a game in front of 5 people, and all of a sudden my mind doesn't work as well as I know it should work. The fact that these people are competing at this level, caring this much about this, and they can't fold it up. When you're talking about the amount of expertise and the margin for error in this sport because of how good the rest of the world is, I don't envy these people being in this position, and that celebration feels like a bit of relief to me on top of everything else.
I'm more interested in your game night.
Yeah, me too.
Like, what are you doing there?
Like? You're nervous.
Charades? I mean,
I was sitting there just yesterday in front of Taylor and Thomas are putting together like a bunch of 2000 lineups.
I love this game.
Yeah, and it's like I'm looking at a 2002. I can't decide whether it's a Royals lineup or an A's lineup, and just playing in front of them, I'm more nervous than I would be if I was just doing it right by myself. And so when I know that, Stugotz, none of this ails you because you're incapable of shame.
No, it actually does. The first time we went to Lake Tahoe and we had to tee off in front of people, I was a nervous wreck.
You shanked it.
I did shank it.
I remember that.
There were like 26 people there watching us, and I was nervous.
Yeah.
I was. Yes.
Great.
I think that we're all chokers. I think here we would find a lot of chokers if anything was ratcheted up to a fraction of the pressure that these people are facing in the elements that they're facing them in.
I mean, you talk about pressure and the agony of defeat and narrow defeat. I lost Olympic towel folding by 0.2 of a second to Christopher. Okay, so I've been there.
But you're going to have to trust us because my dad screwed up recording that portion of the Olympics.
Well, that's
so
true.
we don't have a clip of it.
Greg, if you got a $15,000 payout for finishing second in Olympic towel folding with Chris, would you have celebrated more?
If I had a payout for second place,
$15,000.
You probably would have celebrated.
no, I don't think so.
I think you would have celebrated.
Look, Stugotz and I are alone on an island here. Neither one of us is saying it isn't good for them getting a bronze medal for the first time since 2008. But it ain't gold and it ain't silver, and the way they celebrated just seemed a little over the top for me.
I think
That's
the
all.
way that Jessica looks at the two of you is what's happening in this room. I believe that Stugotz and Greg Cody, because of the amount of time they have spent around sports and in this industry, there's a bit of numbness around stuff in sports that feels good to people who really love sports. Like, you guys have been eating McDonald's fries for 50 years,
So
and you've
good.
been working at McDonald's for 50 years, and now you hate the McDonald's fries and everyone that eats them because you don't care about this the way that Jessica's watching this, it feels like, I'm consuming just her social media commentary. Her enthusiasm is off the charts for some of the things that she's watching because there's discovery in it and wonder and awe. And you two you're in your phone right now. You're swigging from your drink. Like,
We
you guys,
won a bronze,
you guys
right?
don't care that much about
Swigging it.
anything. You only care about how can I come over and criticize it.
It is funny, too, though. I was watching the U.S. celebrate, and then you watch China just devastated because they choked away the gold, and yet
Right.
they're a spot higher than
Yes.
the U.S. That was a little bit weird.
You
But
go to
There
the
you
Olympics
go.
to win golds,
There
not
you
to win
go.
silvers,
Bronze-
not to win bronzes. You go to win a gold. That's what you go
Bronze
for.
was the only thing they could win, though. Now I'm back on the other side. You guys are idiots. There were 2 teams that could win gold and silver.
Right.
There was bronze.
Why do they give out the bronze medal then, Stugotz? Why do they give it out? It's 100% an expectations thing, too, because like Izzy said, China was very disappointed because they had a couple big mistakes and missed out on the gold medal barely by like less than a point. And so their expectations were, we want to win gold. We have one of the best gymnasts in the world on our team. Like, we should be winning gold in this team event. And so their expectations were to win, and they didn't do it. So they were disappointed. The U.S. expectations were, we just need to get a medal. Like, we haven't medaled in this sport in so long, and to be the first team to medal since 2008 would be huge. People will remember our names. People will remember our performances. And that's exactly what happened, and they were rightfully super excited to be up there.
All right, let's give out a fourth-place medal made out of tin. Let's give out a fifth-place medal. Let's give everybody a medal, okay? Here's another. Stugotz and I are the only ones with a proper perspective here on this, and here's another example I would give you. Okay, Miami Dolphins haven't won a playoff game in 23 years. If they finally win one this season, it's going to be a huge deal, and they're going to be rightfully celebrating. But it ain't the Super Bowl. Okay, you celebrate that.
How are they going to celebrate the AFC Championship win? Just a casual handshake like you and Juju?
No, they're going to be happier than winning the wild card playoff game.
Right.
But they're not going to be Super Bowl happy, and you don't
steps of happiness.
And you don't get gold happy by winning a bronze. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
I think the important thing to remember here is that there are brothers on this team who will make a legacy now for their family. Some people be the first person from your family to graduate high school. I was the first person in my family to go to college.
So
this is going to be a monumental accomplishment for those brothers on the team. Their names are going to be in the history books now. They're celebrating that as well as the journey, all the broken toes, the broken ankles that it took to get here. Right. So I understand what you're saying, but this is different than the NFL. This is for your country, and they got to represent it. I think they should take pride in not medaling. I think they should take pride in just participating.
Just being there, huh? Yeah. Greg, there is a third person who agrees with me and you. That person is Herb Brooks. If you remember, Dan, after the United States hockey team, 1980, Lake Placid, they beat the Russians. That was the semifinal game, and everyone was celebrating like we won the gold medal. Everyone except for Herb Brooks, who told his team, if we don't beat Finland, okay, in the finals, gold medal game, what we did against Russia means nothing. It means nothing.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju. A couple of different questions. Is this show the world's leader in talking about the 1980s Olympics?
Yes.
And also put on the poll, should there be a fourth-place medal made out of tin?
There you go. And by the way, to quote the great Ricky Bobby, if you ain't first, you're last.
Yeah, well said.
I believe that that's the best representation of America there could possibly be. Talladega Nights and Ricky Bobby. I think that's what we're going for as a country. Just gluttonous stupidity.
I mean, I went Herb Brooks, an American legend.
To follow up on Juju's point, Greg, there was a gymnast, Paul Judah, and he continually led off in almost every event. And the pressure to lead off is tremendous because, again, every routine counts. His parents are from Poland. He's a first-generation American. And for him to win a bronze, and this country, again, hasn't won a team medal since 2008, that is a huge accomplishment. That's a life story. Those are the types of stories that you see with, like, slowed-down music and Tom Rinaldi speaking in the background in an NFL game. Like, that was incredible, his story. And did you see his TikTok dance afterward? Yes. Oh, my goodness. The kid is going to be a star.
Legend.
Juju and Jessica seem to embody the spirit of the Olympics. Root for America. See if America can make you proud, but don't be cruel to the American athletes and offer them a medal made of tin if somebody screws up on the pommel horse.
Nothing wrong with tin.
What do you mean there's nothing wrong with tin?
Is there a place on the stand for tin? I mean,
or
are you off to the side a little bit?
Yeah, you're in the shadows. You're in the shadows. But tinfoil is probably the most valuable utensil in my kitchen. I use tinfoil for just about everything.
There is a funny randomness in this, in that we do make it the top three finishers, and I, for many years, since the 80s, have wondered how much it hurts to be the person who works for 4 years and finishes in fourth place by 1/100th of a second in a race. Like, what kind of haunting that is. And if we just made it so that there were a fourth medal made of maybe not the insulting tin, but something else. Bronze is pretty random. I'm not sure why we do 3 instead of 5. I'm not sure why it's accepted 3 instead of 4, but I have often wondered, you work for 4 years and you lose by 1/10 of a second, My God, that has to hurt to get back into training next week when you arrive back in the States.
I think I heard in one of the opening ceremony segments on NBC that it used to be 2 medals and then they added a third medal like 100 years ago or something like that. And there were a few swimmers. There was one swimmer that finished in 4th place in Tokyo, and I can't remember which swimmer it was, but she said that that was crushing to her. Like finishing in 4th and losing out on a medal by like 100th of a second probably feels in some ways worse than finishing in like 6th or 7th and being like, all right, I wasn't good enough. But some of these races, especially in swimming, come down to like the millisecond, and it's like a race to just touch the wall quicker, and that is what keeps you off the medal stand. And I think it's insane, but just hearing athletes talk about how crushing it is to finish off the podium in 4th place and how motivating it is to try to get back and just get on the medal stand, I think speaks to how big of a deal winning a bronze or a silver is.
I watched a women's swimming event last night. I'm pretty sure it was a 100-meter breaststroke, and the top 6 finishers were all within 1 second. Mm-hmm. It was insane. Even they showed the replay. It was like watching a horse race where 6 horses are within a nose of each other. It was insane. It was the most exciting thing I've ever seen in the race, and it was just the 100-meter.
And Lily King got 4th in that.
I think so.
From the U.S., yeah.
Right.
Right. So she should get a medal, or she should be disappointed.
Right, exactly. But if she finished 3rd, she should be celebrating like what?
Celebrating.
Okay.
Her name will be in the history books.
Okay.
Her family name will be. She just made her father as proud as she can make him.
Right. No, not quite as proud as she could.
Right.
Not quite as
you
proud.
want to see Brad win a gold.
Okay. I mean, she made her father the 3rd happiest he could possibly be.
There were 2 other fathers who were happier.
Seriously.
I have 2 questions. Is tinfoil a utensil? And I'm surprised to hear that it's the most used utensil in your kitchen. For me, it's a fork.
It's not a utensil.
He called it a utensil.
I looked up the definition of utensil is broader than I thought. Yeah. I thought utensils was just basically the definition of utensil is pretty broad. It's like anything used in the kitchen.
Well, one of the brother words of utensil is utility, and little in the kitchen has more utility use than tin foil. You can wrap up. You can use it to heat stuff in the oven. You can wrap up leftover pizza, throw it in the fridge. There's all kind. You can make a beautiful hat out of tin foil. There's just a myriad of things you can do with it.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju. Is tinfoil a utensil? I'm with Chris Cody and Stugotz on this. I believe that a utensil has to be something that you can hold in your hand that kind of has a handle, right?
Yes,
I don't think of
wax paper.
I don't think of
utensil?
like parchment paper as a utensil.
Just because you can make a tool out of the aluminum foil does not make it itself
or a utility, right?
Or a hat.
But by definition, does it? You keep mentioning the tinfoil hat.
He has fun with tinfoil.
I have a definition right here.
Give me some tinfoil, I'll make a hat.
Definition of tinfoil, of utensil is an implement, instrument, or vessel used in a household or especially a kitchen.
So Tupperware?
Yes, Tupperware is a utensil.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Is there a distinction between tin and aluminum, or is that pretty much the same thing? Because I get aluminum foil.
It's a good question that you're asking there. Put it on the poll as well.
Excellent.
Are aluminum foil and tin foil synonyms? But I am thinking for some reason that this medal that Cody is making for 4th place, it's worse than aluminum. If I gave it aluminum, that'd be bad enough. But tin feels like something out of the 1800s that they were using before they invented aluminum.
Right.
Tin sounds even, and I don't even know the distinction between them, but I think tin is more insulting as a 4th medal.
It always sounds insulting. Something sounding tinny sounds insulting, right?
Not when you make it into a hat. I mean,
that's true. Then it takes on a whole new life.
And you're the quarterback of the Jets.
And the 5th place medal would be made out of styrofoam, I guess.
I was trying to figure out who to make the joke, the tinfoil hat at whose expense. I use this because the tinfoil hat is used only to talk to the aliens, correct? That's the only thing that a tinfoil hat is used is to represent your nuts, correct?
Or to attract a lightning strike.
Why would you be wanting to do that to your head?
No, I'm saying
Because
that
you're
would be a
nuts.
use for a tinfoil hat.
Mm-hmm.
For science.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
Yeah.
Greg,
Yeah.
I want to
he's
put a
right.
pin in this with you. No one is arguing that it wouldn't be better to win a gold or a silver than a bronze.
Seems like you were.
No. Obviously, being the best is the best option. What we are simply saying is don't yuck their yum. They're very happy they won the bronze, and they deserved it, and it was a deserved and appropriate reaction to making history. That's all.
Based on expectations, I mean.
Based on everything. Based on the team's history, based on their individual performances and coming together and everything that they did. Very appropriately happy for the bronze medal.
We are all going to take a break now, and when we return, we will see how well Greg Cody has made a tinfoil hat. It is a bit hard for me to explain to the audience, an audience I imagine that does not care about what the technical difficulties are in doing this show. It's a little hard for me to explain to the audience when I've got a number of different things crackling in my ear and I'm not totally sure whether I'm hearing that Zoom voice tell me that something is recording because I'm actually hearing it or because it's happening behind the scenes and didn't actually go out on air. So there are a number of times in the first 24 minutes of doing this where something was going wrong. So I wasn't able to play whack-a-mole with my two co-hosts here and get all the facts right on no. A tinfoil hat does not lure lightning. It prevents you from having lightning in your life. And Greg Cody is going to continue to try and make this tin hat. All we've learned by scouring the internet is that tin is heavier than aluminum, which suggests to me if I made a fourth place medal out of aluminum, it's more insulting than if I do it out of tin. If I'm giving you a heavier medal that is made of tin, I still don't know the difference between the two things, though. Do any of you know the difference?
No, but I was thinking maybe we just bump everything down and add a platinum medal. So first place gets platinum because platinum's the heaviest medal, right? Like that's the most. If I want platinum jewelry, I know that shit's gonna cost me. All right, and then there's gold, silver, bronze, maybe tin for fifth.
Don't forget about diamond. You should get a diamond medal too. So hey,
ooh.
Can albums be aluminum? My album went aluminum. No.
You're willing to put platinum
I wish I had an
and
answer.
diamonds ahead of gold?
Well, you can move anything ahead because in the first Olympics, the winners got an olive branch and a silver medal, and then they upgraded to gold. So, yeah, we can go platinum. We can bump gold down.
Which has the higher status, the platinum Amex or the gold Amex? Platinum, right?
Platinum
by
for sure.
far.
Well, but
yeah,
actually,
but the
black
one is
does.
better.
Black
Ooh,
It should be a black.
Ooh.
Yeah. There. Yep, a black medal. Yeah.
That's very controversial.
What do you mean?
Making black better than all of the other medals, you're asking for an Olympics that is a little political.
right on, brother. Right on.
Greg Cody is very busy trying to make what
Yeah, we can hear it. It's an unmistakable sound of aluminum foil being moved around.
You can't do it silently. I mean, it's impossible.
It is impossible.
The worst, like late at night when you're trying to like get a thing of leftovers that's covered with some aluminum foil and you're trying to quietly open it so your wife doesn't hear it.
There was a half second where I'm wondering what in the world are you doing with aluminum foil at 3 in the morning?
You know what I'm doing,
I
brother.
should have realized it right away. My fault.
That is the lament of a fat man shame eating in the middle of the night. You're trying to.
Everything is so loud at night.
Now you get
like
mad,
the
you're
mic.
like-
You ever try to open a microwave door?
Right.
Every,
That's the worst.
yes,
Yeah, it's so
every
loud.
kid
Right.
who has ever snuck out and come back home with the munchies
Yeah.
knows how loud it is
At
to rustle
noon,
around.
Yeah.
You don't hear it. I can
Yeah.
open that microwave as hard as I want at noon.
My
but if it's at
ankles.
1 a.m.,
Crack like nobody's business at 1 in the morning.
Right.
1 p.m., silent.
Everyone can hear it. You get mad, though, at your wife because you're like, hey, how about saran wrap? I mean, can I open this thing in silence?
What's noisier? Put it on the poll, Juju, at Le Batard Show. The 3 a.m. aluminum or the 3 a.m. opening of the bag of chips?
oh God,
The worst.
I just don't do that anymore. 'Cause it's embarrassing when the wife just pokes her head out of the door at 3 a.m. Like, what are you doing?
It's that noisy. It's your rummage, your late night rummage. This has to do with the drinking, though, right? You have less grace late at night.
Yeah, a lot of it. It has to do with a lot, Dan. There's a lot to unpack here.
I'm a little bit of an overnight eater sometimes. I sleep in
shut
like
up.
3 or 4 hour segments. The best part about it is when you sleep next to a snorer, you don't have to worry about knowing if they're awake or not. That's snoring. That's going to be asleep. I'm good. I got at least an hour.
This is the saddest hat I've ever seen.
I
Bro,
love
got
it.
on a damn aluminum beret.
It's not great. It's not a great look. You've spent a
Viva la
lot of
Greg.
time
Yeah.
working on the aluminum hat, and as a payoff,
Just
it's-
molded it to your head.
It's not. It doesn't
Okay.
look much like a hat.
No,
It
it's
doesn't
stylish.
look-
It really is.
I needed to use more tinfoil. Okay, if I have a second opportunity, it's going to be like this, but deeper and better.
Okay,
But you got plenty of time.
You got another crack at it.
Great,
Go
okay,
ahead, because the
good.
first
Leave that one
effort-
on while you work on it.
I'm
Yeah.
not satisfied with that.
Okay.
It's a flat hat.
It's not great. Again, at the risk of alienating the audio audience, I do want to go to some video here of our dangerous streets in Miami. Many of you have seen this. I wish that I had waited until right now to show this video to Jessica so that you could have heard the cackle that we heard before the show when she learned of this video for the first time. Our streets in Miami, as I've said, very dangerous, and this is right outside the Elsor. The viral video of a man at an intersection leaving his car, and while enraged because a woman threw some sort of drinking thing at him, he runs over to where she is, jumps up in the air, and karate chops her rearview mirror on the side of her car.
It's very impressive.
And it's unbelievable. I'm trying to reach this man because it is he is like a superhero. The fact that he knows he's going to destroy that rearview mirror.
Did he know?
He
Because
must
it felt
have.
like he just jumped in the air and then decided what he was going to do then.
Oh, it's so good.
It's actually at the very beginning, you think it's, oh no, this is not good. It's a guy attacking a lady, and you're like, oh my God, this is going to be bad. And then he just like decides to like atomic bomb elbow drop. Oh man, he must have hurt his wrist. Do you think he gets back in his car there and is just like, my wrist?
There's definitely a bruise. It's probably a slight fracture. And now that woman is a worse driver because she does not have a side view mirror.
I think the way that works, you get back in the car, you have the adrenaline going. You get back in the car, and like 5 to 7 seconds later, you start looking at your wrist. You're like, ow, man. You start shaking it.
Wait, I don't want to move away from this just yet. What I want to ask all of you, okay, is all of you, have any of you ever had the combination of rage and confidence to jump up in the air like Thor himself and bring down from the heavens a righteous confidence that is going to destroy a rearview mirror that you know is going to destroy it as you jump up, but you weren't sure whether you could destroy it without jumping up that way and having the full force momentum?
I don't mean to be a wet blanket, but do that to a man in the car, is my opinion. Because I don't give a damn. Like this ain't funny to me. Bro, if that's my little sister in the car and a man walking up to the car at all, bro, you're getting self-defense. As soon as you take a step towards my car, self-defense. So you do this shit to a lady, bro, that's embarrassing. I don't like this, bro. Don't have this brother on the show with me on the show because that's embarrassing. That's a lady, man. Come on, I don't give a damn about no mirror. You better watch your ass out, bro.
Juju, you're right, but I think if you roll back the video from the beginning, I think the lady threw something.
Yeah, but
I don't give a damn. That's a lady.
Right.
That's a lady.
Right.
That's a lady. That's hard stop.
Well,
That's a
isn't
lady.
every car a she,
Hard
really?
stop.
I don't think it matters. Like, I get what you're saying, Juju, but like, it shouldn't even matter who's in the car. Like, this is an absurd overreaction to someone throwing a styrofoam cup at you.
I wish somebody would do my girl car like that. Boy, you're getting bushed on camera, on film.
At the risk of discarding the wet blanket and still just isolating the performance after the inappropriateness
Dan.
of the level of the rage. Let's say this person isn't doing it to a woman, isn't doing it to anybody. He's just jumping up in the air in a way. I want to freeze frame him in the air.
It's a self-driving car, Dan.
That's right. It's a Tesla. Thank you.
Then he might be justified because those things suck.
That thing might explode. One of our self-driving cars might explode and actually win the fight. The absurdity of this reaction, since we're spending the entirety of the first hour of this show gauging whether emotions on people winning bronze medals run too high or whether they run too high here in the street. Juju, of course you are right that the reaction to that should not be that. But I will say that my wife has rarely been more disappointed in me than when she has to hold me by the chest because I want to get out of the car and do that to somebody in a South Florida.
I'd love to see you try.
Man, that would be a great video.
That increasingly, I mean, we could have that video. It's happened. I've never seen my wife more disappointed in me than not being able to hold me back by the chest as I'm going off into South Florida where someone can shoot me and get away with it. It's the height of stupidity. I deserve the disdain in her eyes. It's not something that I can control, not the way rage works.
Well, first of all, if you freeze frame that the way we did, it looks like he just won a bronze medal with the U.S. men's gymnastics team. That's what it looks like. He's celebrating. But secondly, I think road rage is probably where you feel the most embarrassed right after. Like the things that you do, the things that your wife is telling you when you are going nuts, you probably feel 5 minutes later and it's just like, God, I was so stupid. Over what? He made me flinch? Oh,
Yeah.
Having a kid has kind of shown me that because I'll just sometimes forget my daughter's in the back seat and I'll just be like, oh, what the bleep or something. And she'll just be like, Daddy, what's wrong? And I'm just be like, you know what? I overreacted there. You're right. I'm sorry.
There was a guy who cut me off coming out of a parking lot, okay? Just blatant, just saw me coming and decided to just jump out right in front. Had me slam on my brakes to the point where it just like started to shake a little bit, right? And then he pulls over to make a left turn near me still, and I'm swearing on my life. I was the only one in the car, so nobody can believe me. He did a white power sign, like right by his head. I nearly lost my mind. Like, you want to talk about normal road rage? I followed this dude for 2 miles, and I stood next to him staring at him for every single light until he was man enough to turn and look at me. Never looked at me. It was a mile in, and I was already embarrassed, but I continued. And by the end, I just failed because he ran a red light, and I wasn't willing to.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying, bro. You never know who you're dealing with out here in these streets, bro. You run around karate chopping cars, bro. I would have caught you midair. I'm not gonna play with you, bro. I got heat for people like you, cuz. Like you did, like you're not finna run up on a car that I'm in. Like that's 100% goofy, man. Like,
but if you do,
we should not celebrate this brother at all. Boo this man when you see him, ladies and gentlemen of the audience.
Well, just laughing. I mean, can I laugh at it? I mean,
the stubborn pride of masculinity is a special kind of stupidity to behold. And when you know you're in it, when you're in your rage and you cannot control it, because I ate the middle finger the guy gave me. It's when he started cursing me under his breath, but loud enough for me to hear that that my wife...
It was go time?
Well, it's stupid. I'm not bragging about it. It's really dumb. It's an ignorant thing to do, and yet I couldn't control myself from doing it, even though I knew I was doing something that was ignorant. Rage bypassing ignorance consciously is a bit of a mind bleep.
Yeah, it's one of the easiest things to me to sort of let go of. And the thing that makes people that have road rage the angriest is when you just smile or laugh at them. They get so angry when you do that. It seems like it just ratchets up a little bit more.
What is going on with this hat?
How are you feeling, Greg, now? Speak into the microphone. We've lost you for 2 segments with this stupid hat idea, and I don't think we're going to get a payoff. It doesn't seem like there's going to be a payoff of any kind.
Looks a lot like the first hat so far.
No, this will properly fit my
This is
my
the new
dome.
and unimproved Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz. Gamble on by DraftKings.
I have lost you for 2 segments, Greg Cody, because you've been very busy making aluminum foil hats.
Thank you.
Are you're proud of this latest version of the hat that you have created? It's bigger than the other one.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem worth any of our time and effort. I'm not sure it's a very good hat.
Looks like an upside-down boat.
This does not rise to the level of pride, but I do think it's better than the first attempt because this one fits my head a little bit better, gives me a little coverage, is a little snug. Mm-hmm. You know, I could wear this out in a rainstorm and not really get rained on. So I
you
think
could collect
it's a
the rain
workable
in
hat.
there too if you need to.
You're like Johnny Cash on Hee Haw. Goddamn.
That's a good reference. I thought I
What's
would have
that?
thought you were
Hee-haw
too, I would have thought you were too young for hee-haw references.
What did he say?
It doesn't matter. You
Okay.
didn't, of course, you didn't have your
had a
earphones
tinfoil
on.
hat on.
because
You had a hat on.
It's
Right,
tough.
right,
It's tough putting
yes.
this hat
You're
over
right.
headphones.
You're
you
right.
can't do both. I'm
Right.
only one man.
Yep.
I mean, I can't do it all.
You
That kind of
are indeed only one man. I don't understand your that kind of thing reference. What is happening in my ears now? You're that kind of thing as a slogan.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
When do you use it? Like, when is it an expression?
It's almost always appropriate. You know, it's a place card. You know, it's a segue. It's an affirmation. You know, no matter what somebody says to me, I'll go, yeah, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm agreeing with them. I'm giving them affirmation.
It's a throwaway, though. It doesn't.
It's a utility phrase. That's
does,
what it is.
It does
Yes.
seem like it's
Thank
the
you.
aluminum of his phrases.
It's the aluminum foil of phrases, and it's got to be said quickly as one word, that kind of thing.
I want to know more about these family Olympics on the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody.
Yeah,
Chris, can you tell me more about what is happening there? Because you said you have marshmallow expectoration,
Yep.
you have towel folding. I was told here recently, I agreed to this. I assume it will never happen because they also need Stugotz's agreement on this. But I was told that we're doing swimming. I have never in my life had a race where I swim. I don't know the last time I swam. I really don't know. There is no way I will win this. I'm assuming that these Olympics that we're doing here are only meant to get me and Stugotz shirtless, correct? That's the only goal here.
And jumping into a pool of the whole thing. Yes, we are efforting to do it. We are going to do it. And it's going to be later in the Olympics. We're kind of building up to it, Dano.
What do you mean you don't know the last time you swam?
No, raced, like he's saying.
race.
Oh, a race.
A race,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
And also I would say the last time I swam, I've been in pools and stuff and done some stuff underwater, but like a stroke of some sort, I legitimately can't remember unless it's underwater swimming. I can't remember what kind of stroke I've ever put together trying to race in a pool.
Cranking up the excuse machine. You just jump in, you jump out. That's it. I mean, weave a lap in once in a while. How about that? Good for you.
Yeah,
I mean,
don't do very much of that. If I'm in a pool, it's not to weave a lap in once in a while. I don't know how many laps you're doing, but what other Olympics are we doing here, and what other Olympic categories are on the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody?
Swimming is really the only thing we're efforting because it's a whole thing. We were going to do multiple sports, but we're just focusing in on swimming. We're going to probably have like a preliminary where like the shipping container, if they want to, anyone that wants to from the show, where we race and then we build up to the main event where Dan and Stu race.
100 free, or what are we doing here?
I'm thinking, yeah, that would be there and back. I was thinking that would
anybody
be
can do the freestyle.
because I want to see the underwater push off the wall thing. I
the
wanna see you
turns,
guys do that
dude,
too.
yeah.
You got a
The turn's the
butterfly.
key, yeah.
Two Americas, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to mean to fit the stereotype, but I wish we had any more activities other than aquatics.
What is the rest of the group doing? Like, I'd like to know some of the other categories that were in your Olympics.
Yes.
And is this the only thing I'm going to be competing in? Okay.
We were going to do ping pong because a lot of people around here think they're good at ping pong. but
Everyone
that-
thinks they're good at ping
That's
pong.
still TBD.
Everybody.
I'm really good.
Right.
I think
Well,
I'm
the
bad.
best.
I
Yeah.
think I'm
Same.
really bad at ping pong. I think everyone would beat me.
I
at that.
know we're fantastic at pickleball. I know that for a fact.
that should be in the
I
Olympics.
want to play pickleball.
No, I would take them.
Do you know that you're great at pickleball, or you just know that Roy's not great at pickleball?
No, I know me and Jessica are the phenomenal team that we are.
Okay.
Champions.
How about that?
I would like to find the video, please, and the audio of Anthony Edwards and his interactions with the table tennis team, because he also believes he is exceptional at table tennis, and you can believe you're exceptional at table tennis, and I will tell you, you're not Olympic exceptional at table tennis. If you think you are Olympic exceptional at table tennis, you clearly have not been watching any Olympic table tennis. None of you would win a single point against any of the people competing at the highest level of Olympic table tennis.
I'd get a point.
Not
I mean,
a
come
point.
on.
Not a point.
Not a point.
You have them beating me 21-0?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Get outta
Have
here.
you seen how they hold the paddle when they serve?
They're great.
Scary.
They're talented. I understand that. But a point? You're going to hit a shot out every now and again. No.
No.
I don't think you could return a table tennis serve. The way they hold I can't even fathom the physics of it.
I return the serve of a professional tennis player.
Anthony Edwards over here.
Stugotz, you did with a cigarette.
I did. Right. Even
I
more
remember
impressive.
that, yeah.
Right.
With
I
a
think I did too. I got a racket
It
on.
was after like 50 tries.
With a cigarette, you did return a single serve from a professional tennis player. You did. But you are also someone, and this is criminal in your industry, the lack of expertise in it, who consistently underestimates the excellence of the people playing sports and it consistently overestimates your own excellence when it comes to these things.
I'm just saying a point. I mean, a little slice backhand. I mean, good luck getting that back to me.
It really is absurd in that he does believe these things with the center of his heart. He believes that he can do anything against anyone.
To tie up a loose end and answer your direct question, the 5 events so far in the Greg Cody Show's Father-Son Olympics, in addition to towel folding and marshmallow expectoration, we've had pickleball bounce, we've had nail pounding, and we've had, what was the other one, Christopher?
Staring contest.
Staring contest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so
On a podcast.
Yeah, right.
On Zoom.
Yes, that's right.
What is pickleball bounce?
It's where you take a pickleball paddle and a pickleball and see how many times you can bounce it
Wow.
to at least eye level without missing. And
Did Chris's daughter come up with these games?
well, we didn't want like just any old Olympic event. You know, we wanted something that you couldn't see in Paris. Okay, you can see anything else in Paris if you want. You can't see towel folding in the Paris Olympics.
Well, you
So-
can't see it on your podcast either because you bleeped up the recording. So, that part I found kind of amazing. The fact that an Olympic event has disappeared because you had technical issues. It just vanished. You didn't do it over. You just recorded the result and moved it on.
Right.
Somehow that is. Do you know how hard it is on a podcast to have a worse idea than a staring contest in terms of what it is you're providing to the audience?
That's just it. That's exactly it. Yes.
I hit record and handed my dad the phone. His job was to just hold it there so that they could hear when I was doing the folding.
Well, tell us more then. How did this towel folding thing play out? Because I'm intrigued. I've been on my share of cruises. I actually have a couple of towel folds in my house
No,
that I
it's
like
not.
to show off.
It's not like the animal. It's
Oh,
not
no,
that.
it's not a judged event.
Right.
There's 3 disheveled towels in a pile,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a timed event. Who can take the 3 towels, fold them, and stack them neatly?
So no extra points for fancy folds.
No, it's a race to see who can neatly fold 3 towels and stack them on
Now
top of each other.
you videoed me doing that,
Right.
so there's a record of me doing it. But when you were folding the towels, that's when there was a malfunction on my part.
Yeah, my dad, he doesn't fold a lot of towels. He was like laying it down on the table, like me. I'm doing it like you fold it in half up here, 2 folds. Like it's part of my job with laundry is folding
And
the
yet
towels.
you
Why
only
you
beat
won
me
the
by-
gold? Yeah.
Well, you only beat me by 0.2 of a second.
I had some major fumbles though.
I was just about to ask, who won?
I won.
Who
0.2.
won?
0.2 seconds.
What were the rejected contests?
Well, we're only halfway through the Olympics, so we've got 5 ahead of us.
As you can tell, there's not a great vetting process. It's basically, oh, that's an idea. All right, let's do it.
It's what we agree on.
What are the 5 ahead of us? What
we
are
don't
gonna-
know yet. We fly by the
okay,
seat
good.
of our pants.
I love it.
We're going to pull it right out our...
Ooh, flying by the seat of your pants. Sounds like
Yes.
a good event.
That would be a good event.
That expression, does that come from Peter Pan, from something in theater, from something in acrobatics? The flying by the seat of your
on
pants. I
damn
don't
good question.
know where that expression comes from. Before we get to the F1 minute, which I want to get to, Stugotz, I did just want to circle back around on how it is we underestimate how much athletes care about their singular obsessions. Being in a swimming pool as a sport seems super lonely. We have talked to swimmers before, including Michael Phelps, about that loneliness and just as a lifestyle, what it is to try and train to be a tenth of a second faster than the next person. I really can't fathom what it is to be that good at something that you can be fourth best in the world, that you can wait 4 years for something you want to achieve, and that you lose by a tenth of a second when you're spending all 4 years in that loneliness obsessing about how do I get that extra tenth of a second. I can't imagine what the haunting is to finish an arbitrary fourth place instead of an arbitrary third place by a tenth of a second when you have to do what these people do to care the amount that they care to actually get to the top of the world to compete for these things.
Yeah, and then not even have a tin medal waiting for you.
Right.
You know,
because you were 0.4 of a second slower.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
It's got to be the worst sports pain imaginable, right? You train your entire life by yourself. It's a lonely existence. You're training. And someone else in another part of the world is also training, and that person is 1/10 of a second better than you are at swimming. I mean, that's got to be a lonely feeling, a sad feeling.
This is why they say during the opening ceremony for a lot of the athletes, like, this is your moment, because you might not get a moment of glory playing your sport. You might not even make it out of like the first heat to qualify to race in the final or whatever your sport is. And so, like, this is it. You get your little boat ride down the Seine with your flag, and that might be the pinnacle of your Olympics moment because it's so hard to win.
Flying by the seat of your pants, first used around 1935. It referred to pilots flying in heavy fog without their instruments. They learned to tell whether they were flying right side up by pressure against their parachute packs.
Wow.
Basically, I have it as with the seat being the largest point of contact between the pilot and the plane. It was from the seat of his or her pants that the pilot could feel how the airplane was reacting to his or her controls. So it has nothing to do with the actual pants and everything to do with your ass.
Okay.
It's unbelievable. I thought it was Peter Pan. It's Peter Pants. because we genuinely do have here two South Florida journalism icons, I want to get Izzy's thoughts and Greg Cody's thoughts on Tua's signing, because it's fairly monumental for the quarterback, for the Dolphins to announce that they have a quarterback they believe in who they're going to pay. It's something, odd as it is to say, that we have not had in this market this century. It's not something that we've known in this market. It's weird. It's a weird thing to say. So we will get to that in a second. But I want to tell everybody here who's been with us in the local hour and has followed our show for 20 years that before football season, we're going to have a few announcements to make that are pretty cool about how it is that we're expanding and how exciting it is after, 3.5 years of doing this away from a mainstream place to now have the paywalls coming to us and saying, hey, can we have your content? And it wouldn't restrict any of the other places you're in. We just want to add to your reach and your growth. And we're gonna have a couple of exciting announcements before football season. But for right now, you can get us every day live on YouTube from 9 to 11 a.m. Eastern. You can get us on Max from 11 to noon Eastern. You can get us on the DraftKings network from 11 to 2 Eastern. And also at any point, Roku TV, Samsung TV, Google TV, Xumo Play, the DraftKings network online. And also the full show episodes are all on YouTube by 2 p.m. You're going to have all of that and a couple of other cool places where you can find us as soon as the Olympics are over and right before football season.
I kind of want to mess with my dad here. He was complaining earlier about the way U.S. gymnastics men celebrated the bronze. Do you remember how Belgium celebrated third place of the World Cup?
I don't.
They celebrated it with what was hundreds of thousands of people like joining in like a courtyard area, and then the team, as if they won it, was like making speeches like at a parade. I just love
like a king speaking to all his people from a balcony. That's how they celebrate.
That is sad.
The video audience can see here. Look at this crowd that gathered for third place.
So sad.
Guys, it was their best ever finish in a World Cup.
Oh my God.
Let them have their fun.
That is look at that.
I mean, come on. That's too much fun. I mean, for third place, it's too much fun.
It's a reason to drink more. Come on.
You know, in fairness, the only thing the Belgians are famous for is the waffle. So I kind of get that they threw a parade for a third place.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Juju is the only thing that Belgians are famous for, the waffles.
You know, speaking of Belgium, that's where F1 was this weekend. It's time for
Wow.
our F1 Minute.
Look at
Amazing.
that.
Wow. Professional.
Brought to you by Andretti Cadillac. Learn about Andretti's work to join Formula One at AndrettiCadillac.com.
It's the last race before summer break, and Formula One is at Spa for the Belgian Grand Prix. Will Verstappen extend his championship lead? Will Carlos Sainz finally decide where he's driving next year? Will the winner of the race be disqualified hours after it's done? Stay tuned. Verstappen is the fastest to qualify, but he'll take a 10-pace grid penalty and start from P11. It's lights out, away we go as Charles Leclerc leads the pack. But Hamilton's Mercedes is too fast for his future teammate, and he takes the lead. Hamilton is leading in the race. Front runners are opting for a two-stop strategy, except Russell, who decides to roll the dice and go long on his hard set of tires. Piastri is chasing for a podium spot, but he has a slow pit stop, and his Jackman goes flying. With just 8 laps to go, Piastri chases down Leclerc and has his eyes on the Mercedes. Russell has the lead and hasn't taken a second stop, but his tires might run out of juice. Hamilton is right behind him on fresher tires. Will Mercedes give team orders with Piastri right behind Lewis, or let the lads race? It'll be a battle to the finish for the Mercedes, and Russell crosses the line first. Russell pulls off the improbable one-stopper and wins his second race of the season. It's a Mercedes 1-2 finish. But wait!
Faster.
The FIA would like to have a word.
No,
George
no.
Russell has been disqualified from the Belgian Grand Prix for driving with his car underweight. I just drooled all over myself. It'll be a Lewis Hamilton win. His second of the season.
Yes.
The king is on top again.
Yes. Jackman went flying. Yes, excellent
A
work
shocking
there.
left turn in that F1 minute.
Our first drool
Yes.
to accompany the
Well, not
F1 minute.
first.
Oh, it's not?
First that I couldn't ignore.
I'm on Belgium.com, and it says the thing that Belgium is most famous for is chocolate, not waffles. How about that?
Put that on the poll as well, Juju. Belgians more famous for chocolate or waffles?
And I would add a third category. One of the best beers in the world is a golden ale from Belgium called Duvel.
Yep.
Duvel.
That's number 3 on Belgium.com. Yes.
It is not.
Yep.
It is not
do you
nearly
mean?
as famous as the other two. It is ridiculous. It's a ridiculous thing to say.
It's their list. I mean.
All Greg Cody wanted to do there was show you that he knew a Belgian beer. It's
Yeah.
as close to culture as he comes, drinking a beer outside his garage.
It's in my garage refrigerator right now. 4 bottles of Belgium.
With a bunch of Miller
Duvel.
Lite.
Yeah. Not
It's
as many
actually
as last night.
Yeah, it's actually number 4 on Belgium.com. French fries, number 3.
Really?
Yes.
What about Brussels sprouts?
Oh,
Not on there.
yeah, I like
Yeah.
that. I like that.
Are they famous? Why would
Brussels.
They're just called sprouts over there.
Yeah, they put mayonnaise on fries in Belgium, which is just wrong on
It's
so
so
many
good.
levels.
No,
So many levels.
it's so good.
Ugh.
Don't knock it till you try it.
Boy, I'm knocking it and never going to try it.
Dan's
I
never
can do
looked
both.
more angry.
What?
The only way to make French fries better is to do that.
Mayo?
Yes.
No.
Oh, my
no.
God.
The way to make French fries the best is with Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue. That is the best.
Mayo.
Yes.
You hate to hear it from me, but mayo.
No,
100%.
No,
yeah.
no.
Kiss me.
The only thing a fry wants is a lot of salt. You got to heavily salt the fry, slide it into your maw with nothing on it, no ketchup, no nothing.
You know what we should do? Sorry, Juju. We should remember when you had to stick your hand in the mayonnaise bucket?
Yeah.
We should bring that back and then make you eat French fries out of it.
Let's get this settled with Pablo Torre from Pablo Torre Finds Out because
Who made him the expert on this?
There's just all sorts of blasphemy here. Raw dogging the French fry is the best way to have the French fry. Like that's no good.
A little salt.
A lot of salt.
Yes, salt.
You gotta have a condiment.
No, you don't want a condiment on fries.
Yeah, no condiments on fries. Salt is the biggest condiment you need on there.
Thank
It's
you.
the measure of a good fry, a great fry, Dan. If you don't need anything to make the fry better, that's a good fry. Like McDonald's, you don't need a single thing.
Zagaki.
Yeah.
Pablo,
That's a lie. That is a lie, Stu. A sweet and sour sauce?
Yeah.
Dip your fries into a sweet and sour sauce? My God.
Oh, yeah.
That is the multicultural America that I've been dreaming of.
This guy gets
So if
it.
you get the number 10, the 10-piece nugget, fries, medium Coke, I understand you have the sweet and sour sauce. You might dip a fry in there, and I understand that it's good. I'm just saying it's also good without any single sauce, and that's the measure of a good fry.
the naked fry, man. You guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
You need
That's how you
something.
watch your figure as well. You pick up all those empty calories, putting out the ketchup and honey mustard.
Oh.
What did Pablo say? Sweet and sour.
Sweet and
Come
sour.
on, man. Get in the gym. Get healthy. Get some abs.
Is a salted fry naked?
Yeah, I think so.
Put that on the poll as well, Juju. Is the salted French fry naked?
It's like pizza. A plain slice determines whether or not pizza is good. If you need to add pepperoni, sausage, meatball, ham, meat lovers, I love a good meat lovers. But if you need to add those things, not a good slice of pizza.
That's fair.
Thank
That's
you.
fair.
What do you mean it's fair to say the French fry's not any good if you put ketchup on it? That's
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Ketchup is the enemy of the French fry.
Of a good French fry.
That's
Yes.
asinine.
Right.
You've never said
an
anything.
enhancer.
You've
Yeah.
never said anything more ridiculous in your life. I almost word association ketchup with French
I
fries.
know.
Like
So
it's-
does most of everybody. It's ridiculous. Ketchup and mayo is worse, but mayo and fries is worse. But ketchup and fries, it's the go-to for so many people. They don't even think before they eat.
How are you so comfortable dismissing the opinions of others when you are totally ignorant on a subject? Like, I've never tried mayonnaise with my French fries. However, it is stupid and
Right.
it can't be good. Like, how is
Here's
it
the
that you're
answer.
so comfortable in that ignorance?
Okay, the answer is that I know very well
Yeah.
mayonnaise. I know it very well. I know this. Mayonnaise is great on a turkey sandwich, not as good on a ham sandwich. There are certain facts about eating, about the kitchen, about culinary skills, and so I don't have to try a French fry with mayonnaise to know that it would be a ghastly fit.
You definitely want to let the ham speak for itself, right?
Ham and mustard
Yeah.
are good partners.
No doubt. Yeah.
But not so much ham and mayonnaise for some reason. I can't really explain it, but I know it.
Yeah. Apologize, Dan. I mean,
What's the last time you remember a combination of foods, Greg, that you hadn't tried before that you ended up liking?
Oh, he's not a trier of learning.
Oh, no.
No.
You've ceased. You have given up on learning.
I'm
Don't
very
tell me you haven't.
experimental in the kitchen.
Greg, you as a grown man, we heard that already.
It's
from him.
utensil.
That was from him. He
Right.
said that on air. He was not saying that to just you.
Baby.
Double baby's okay, Dad.
Yeah, damn right it is.
Baby. Triples is
Thank
best.
you. Let's all say it. Baby. Yeah.
Greg did mention, by the way, sliding a fry into your maw recently. Just wanted to flag that as well.
Thank
as a
you.
thing.
He's been using maw as a word comedically since I've known him.
Yeah.
Since he doesn't use mouth. He uses maw more than mouth.
Usually gaping maw.
Yes, but he is right about this. Mustard is reserved for bologna, salami, ham. It is not reserved for turkey. You go mayo with turkey, maybe Thousand Island with roast beef. I mean, it's up to you on roast beef.
I don't agree with anything you guys are saying. Like
No,
literally
mustard
not a syllable.
Mustard likes the pink meats.
Right.
2 words.
That's definitely a Greg Cody saying
Put
that
it on
Chris
the
picked
poll,
up somewhere.
please. Put it on the poll. Mustard likes
Right.
the big, the pink meats. Well, Cody did do that. A fry likes
The
a
gaping
certain
maws.
amount of salt.
Right. Yes, and turkey loves mayonnaise. They're like this.
Oh, yes.
Louisiana hot sauce, ladies and gentlemen. That shit tastes good on everything.
You're not lying. I mean, Louisiana, there's so many hot sauces now, right? Everybody has one. Louisiana hot sauce is
Sounds like a back in my
some
day.
of the best. Yeah, it could be.
When are we getting our next Back in My Day?
Right after the Olympics.
Yeah.
Olympics?
Yep.
Yeah, of course.
These Olympics?
No, the ones in 4 years. No, we're eventually. Like my friend Stephen King says, everything is eventual.
Pablo, your obsession with fencing, it inspired a weird Olympic sports draft around here. I believe we have some more assignments now. Tony has canoe slalom and artistic swimming. We'll get to that when Tony gets back. I think Chris and Jess are fighting over beach volleyball. Who ended up wrestling that away? All right, Jessica's going to give us a beach volleyball update in a second. What sport do you have, Greg?
I have equestrian plus the West African nation of Côte d'Ivoire.
Well, that's not one of the...
Okay.
You
Then
just drafted
I'll
a
keep it to
nation.
myself.
It doesn't have to do it. I mean,
Well, they, listen, the Ivory Coast changed its name in 1986 and became a country named in my honor. So if
Well,
you
don't give
think
it all away, Greg.
If you don't think I'm willing to talk up that country and get all behind it once every 4
But I
years,
asked you
you're
which
wrong.
sport you drafted.
Equestrian.
Told you, yeah.
equestrian.
But then you gave me a country.
Yeah,
All the sports
I
from that
do-
country.
thing, right? in
I
case
do
you need it.
more. I do more than I'm asked to do.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my nature.
I want to draft a country. That's not fair.
Well, you got one named Jessica? No, I got one named Coat.
Yep.
So how many Back in My Days do
Okay.
you have then if you do more than what's asked of you?
I'll have one eventually.
Got it.
You know, I've cataloged them. I've done hundreds. In fact, I got a Back in My Day book coming out fairly soon, like late August, September, October, somewhere around there.
GregCodyBook.com?
Yeah, so we're
Yeah.
really excited about that. Yeah, thank you.
Always goes the extra mile, Dan.
Yeah,
I mean, you ask for one thing, he brings you two, except the thing that you want.
right.
Yeah.
I go the extra kilometer, which is even longer than a mile, in honor of a European Olympics.
Yeah.
Jessica, are you ready to give us a beach volleyball update of some sort?
I am so ready. Have you guys watched any beach volleyball and seen where the stadium is? Because
Oh, beautiful.
holy crap, it is right in front of the Eiffel Tower, and it is beautiful. And so far, so good for Team USA. But I thought the biggest revelation so far from USA beach volleyball, Chase Budinger, who used to play in the NBA, is now a beach volleyball player in this Olympics.
Wow.
He's 36 years old. He played in the NBA for 7 or 8 seasons. He's 6'7", and he won his first match against France, who's very good. They won, I think, the last 3 international beach volleyball tournaments. So they beat them yesterday. His partner's name is Evans. I can't remember his first name. Miles Evans, I think, something like that.
This is your area of expertise.
I know, and I
You
completely
have
forgot to
know
write
the
down his first name.
names.
Bob
Yes.
Evans.
Bob Evans, exactly. Again, with the
Like
waffles.
Kid Rock, yeah.
And then
Bob.
Team USA women's beach volleyball. Everyone knows, of course, the legendary Misty May. Where'd my music bed go? Come on.
Come on.
Misty
Come
May
on, Chris
and
Cody.
Carrie Walsh. They're no longer in the Olympics, but we have 2 women's beach volleyball teams that have won their opening matches that are very good. So stay tuned for more. It's still group play. So nothing, no elimination games yet. We're still in it. We're still doing well. And indoor volleyball also is sick. and we lost to China in women's, but they're still very good.
Miles Evans.
I wonder, thank you,
right.
not Bob Evans,
I
Miles
said Miles.
Evans. We also said that the kilometer is longer than miles,
Evans.
and I don't think they are.
Is it shorter?
I think they're shorter.
Yeah, I
than
knew it was
miles.
one or the other.
Right, had to be.
He's right.
Yep.
He is right about that. Pablo, do you have any fencing updates for us?
I drafted a new sport for this draft, actually, and the sport is diving. And I want to bring this to your attention because maybe on the internet you guys saw a video of what has been the most viral Olympic diving moment. And I want to play that for you guys if the video team has got enough time for me
The
filibustering.
guy who landed on his back?
So this is...
Spoilers, Dan.
Oh my God!
I've got to tell the audio audience what is happening.
I think they've seen this. It's the guy that does he jumps off the board, does about 4 or 5 flips, and then backflops into the water.
So this is the Philippines, unfortunately for you, boy. And this is that man going full Amin El Hassan in a pool. It's been viewed tens of millions of times. At the end of the video, also, if we ever get to it, you can see him just sort of like sadly high-fiving his teammate on the side. The reason I bring this up, though, because it is the most viral Olympic moment, allegedly. What I found out is that this is not from this Olympics, okay? Can we stop making fun of the Philippines? This is the 2015 Southeast Asian Games, and my homeland has been answering for this every Olympics since. In Rio, it wasn't in Rio. They're doing it in Paris. It's not in Paris. It's just that one dude in Singapore 9 years ago. Can we please move on?
I agree with you, Pablo. People need to stop trying to fake everyone into thinking something just happened in these Olympics. That's from years ago. This happened yesterday with Diana Taurasi. A picture of her was going viral with a player from, I think, Japan that was much shorter than her. And I'm pretty sure that picture was from the Tokyo Olympics. But they played Japan yesterday, so it was like going re-viral again. Confusing everyone.
Because no one knows anything about the Olympics, everything is new. And so everything is happening right now. There are a million Olympics and non-Olympics happening in this Olympics, which is cool. I love the Olympics, except it's not the Olympics.
It is delightful the way these things happen now to everybody instead of just me, because I am so scared about what my 80s are going to be like
Dan,
when I'm looking at something that I think is now and they're going to tell me, nope, that was 1989 and it's artificial intelligence.
I was fully convinced that had happened now at 3 straight Olympics, that it was just a different person who just belly flopped
The guy just can't get it right.
It's like Jason Derulo falling up the stairs at the Met Gala. Every freaking year we see it again, and people fall for it every time.
Pablo, you are ashamed on behalf of your people?
I'm ashamed on behalf of my people in America who don't have the literacy to know when there's a chyron that says 2015 Southeast Asian Games and think it's still the Olympics. That said, shout out to John Elmerson Fabriga, by the way, that's the other funny part about this. You think that guy made the Olympics, guys? Really? You're like, oh, that guy did that in the Olympics. That screams obscure regional Asian diving championship. It does not say greatest in the world, but I appreciate the credit, I guess, on behalf of my people.
Greg, your equestrian update. You are feeling, do we still have enough music bed there for Greg Cody? This is very cheap music we've gotten.
I love it. It's so dramatic. You know, as the owner of a racehorse, calmly, you can understand why I am excited about equestrian like no other sport at these games. And let me tell you, the sport is being run at the Summer Games' loveliest of locales, the Palace of Versailles, where royalty once reigned, where Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette threw lavish soirees, and where now athlete horses and their riders compete across pristine grounds, breathing with history and elegance. Controversy shook the sport on the eve of the games, however, when British dressage star Charlotte Dujardin, thrice a winner of gold, withdrew in shame from this Olympiad in scandal when a 4-year-old video surfaced of her not landing on her back in a pool, but whipping a horse during a coaching session. And the American equestrian community had earlier been in shock when Jessica Springsteen, yes, Bruce's daughter, was unexpectedly left off Team USA despite helping the U.S. win silver in team jumping in the previous Olympiad. 4 of 6 medal events are yet to be determined in Paris. Gold thus far has only been awarded in individual team eventing. which combines dressage and jumping with cross-country across a grueling 500-meter course of natural and designed obstacles. Germany's Michael Jung won gold aboard his horse Chipmunk, making history as the first three-time winner in that event. Great Britain won the team gold, with the U.S. yet to medal in the sport this time. However, Team USA has won 11 golds on a horse, tied for fifth most, and 54 overall, second only to Germany. But America has not been golden on four legs since 2008. On a personal note, this correspondent's favorite horse, Sir Greg, ridden by Finland's Vera Manninen, regrettably finished 39th of 64 in the individual competition. Reporting to you 9,000 kilometers from Versailles, I'm Greg Comley.
Hey, that was fantastic. I got to give that one.
Expert. I mean, well done.
Equestrian.
Yeah.
Equestrian. And dressage, by the way. A lot of people
Not
say
done.
A lot of people say, what is dressage? It's French for training, the word training. And dressage is where the horse responds with quiet little particular skills when barely instructed by the rider.
Try and be with the music there because it's going up and down dramatically.
Orchestra.
I heard the horses don't get medals.
They should, though, right? They give them a carrot.
What?
Yeah.
That's it?
Do the horses have to be from the respective countries as well?
I don't think so, but that's a damn good question.
Juju,
I'm gonna report.
That is
those.
an excellent
Put
question.
those,
Yes.
put those on the poll, Juju, please, at Le Batard Show. Should the horses in equestrian get the medals instead of the human being?
They should both get.
And do the horses have to be from the country of origin, or can they do what Joel Embiid did?
I have top 5 athletes that can own a horse.
Oh, do you really?
I do, yeah.
All right. Juju, are you updated on your water polo information? Are you ready to go on water polo?
Just as soon as I get these 2 polls consecutively back to back,
All
you
right,
just told me to
all
do.
right. We'll
Smoke marijuana.
All right, we'll filibuster here
Can't
with
do everything. Just
with-
one man.
With Stugotz's top 5 athletes who connote horses. OLI or number 5?
Yeah, I have 2 OLIs. Charlie Huff.
That's absurd.
Oh, Greg loves that one
That's
because he came up with it.
It's asinine.
Joe Buck.
OLI, number 5.
Colt McCoy.
Number 4.
Rocky Balboa. The Italian Stallion.
Number 3.
Michael Gallup.
Perfect.
Number 2.
Trot Nixon.
It's a good list.
That's a good one.
Number 1.
Nay Hilario.
He just goes by Nene now.
Whoa.
It's a good list.
Thought he was just gonna have like a horse, like Justin Verlander.
Adam Wainwright.
I have two
Caballo.
suggestions. One, Jurgen Klopp.
Oh,
Klopp's good.
Ooh, that's
Klopp.
good.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Two,
Klopp.
Clyde Frazier.
Oh, wow.
It's his list.
Yeah. I mean, make one. Go ahead.
Pablo, what is on the latest Pablo Torre finds out that you are here selling us?
Left out Kenny Mayne.
Pablo?
I'm just impressed by this list, honestly. Today's episode is about a 44-year-old state legislator in Ohio who had not pitched for a baseball team, a pro baseball team called the Sioux City Explorers, in 17 years until he got a call one day that he needed to suit up within a period of hours. And this dude, J.D. Schulten, the 44-year-old in question, proceeded to win the game, have the game of his life, is now one of the best starters in this independent minor league in the Midwest. And he's also, again, a sitting state legislator in Iowa who happens to be, I believe, this is my argument, the JD that American politics needs right now. Not J.D. Vance, J.D. Schulten, who is anti-monopoly, an actual grassroots politician who says all the things that we need because he's a guy making $1,400 a month playing minor league baseball and is awesome at it, again, at age 44 after not pitching for this team in 17 years. So please go listen to why this man should be listened to.
Bronco Mendenhall.
Oh, wow.
That's a good one.
That was good.
That's very strong. The idea that Hilario doesn't use Hilario anymore and you could have just gone nay.
I know. Oh,
I mean, that's
Connor
my
Stallions!
list. Yeah.
Connor Stallions.
Man.
He's got a
I have the
documentary.
Italian Stallion. I mean-
Connor Stallions has a documentary coming out on Netflix.
The Italian Stallion was the name of the stripper at my grandma's 50th.
hold on. I need to hear more about this.
Baby!
Was he actually born in
Out
Italy?
of time.
Yeah, it's too bad.
11-3. The USA lost. Water polo.
I know I can't talk, but Pablo.
I found interesting, Stugotz, and I was surprised. Perhaps I should not have been. I was surprised at the reaction, how outsized I thought it was on social media yesterday as a divisive force when I mentioned pretty casually in a conversation about LeBron James and what his excellence has been in the modern age for 20 years of largely unblemished work. I called him today's Ali, and a lot of people really objected to that, which I understand. It's a bit of a rhetorical trick, right? It's impossible to be Ali today. And if you were to be an athlete being Ali today, you would be having to tackle things like Gaza and Ukraine and just an assortment of things that I don't think it's possible for anybody to be Muhammad Ali today. But what I was saying, or what I meant to say, is this is the athlete that America puts in front of everybody for this generation as the representation of our athletic grace, dominance, and excellence. You only get a few of them. Ali was the Ali of his time because of all the political stuff, but Jim Brown and Bill Russell were doing it too. Ali was bigger than them to the world. Michael Jordan came after that. Tom Brady will never be that. I'm talking about generational excellence that holds that flag, and it means something because the excellence holding the flag is less battered than the flag is itself over the last 20 years. And so what I'm saying is that for our time, in this specific time of social media ravage you, and there was no textbook on how to navigate this, Ali Jordan didn't navigate this kind of cruelty where we're going to climb into every crevice of your life, have way too much access to you for you to actually be a myth. You're going to be too human because we're going to change all of the ways that you're covered, and then you're going to look like you pale in comparison to Ali and Jordan when you do not, because you have circumnavigated something over 20 years with uncommon grace. But of course, he is not and can never be, nobody can, politically what Muhammad Ali was.
Impossible standard that he set. But I think the blowback that you're getting when you say that about LeBron is Ali's wife, when LeBron had a chance to do something on an international scale, China, Hong Kong, that whole deal, she said he is not Muhammad Ali.
That's correct.
His wife said that.
And
right.
he would tell you that he sat that one out in the name of sneakers sales. Again, I'm saying the modern day Ali. Like, it's the important qualifier and diluter on the front end, understanding that nobody can be that. I can't say there will be a modern day Jackie Robinson. I'm simply speaking as American icon that you can be proud that he represents your country and your generation, Stugotz, because there are only 3 of them. There are only 3 of them ever. And what I'm saying is he gets the bronze medal in that class. And it's something that should be celebrated instead of disgraced.
Dan, I had the same reaction as some of these folks on social media had. When you said that, it was like, ooh, because you can't, like you said, you can't match up their experiences to that they're reacting from, right? Muhammad Ali went through all this stuff growing up. He experienced these things. He turned to, the Nation of Islam. He taught the teachings of all these things. And LeBron can only do so much as he experienced, can only respond to what he experienced. And I think he is doing that with the schools, with, bringing these young people into probably situations that they couldn't have if they were left to their own devices. But I do think he is lacking in that his voice doesn't always really have the weight to it that you want it to have, right? When Muhammad Ali or somebody of his stature would speak about something, he would take the time, probably do some research, and then come out and say something about it to where you understood, oh, okay, this is a very reasoned human being. He obviously looks at things from different perspectives. I think with LeBron, that's lacking. I'm not saying it needs to be there for the best basketball player we've ever seen. Maybe it's just, it kind of hurts when you hear those 2 names together because he's nowhere close.
It is a diluted form in the modern age. He has not used his voice as much as I would have liked either, but he's used it more than Tiger and Michael and most of the other people who have been in the role that he's been in, to not sit out the black stuff, to not sit out some of the race stuff. And he's done more than other commercial spokesmen.
But I think that's what Dan is saying. It's impossible to come close to the standard that Ali set and the things that he went through. So modern day, okay, I'm more with you.
But it's not. I'm not even just talking about though. You have to have the combination of excellence that endures forever and is beyond unassailably all of your peers. I don't know who you go to on second place on who holds that flag with more grace in the modern age among athletes. What's the distant second when I tell you, hey, Tom Brady doesn't represent like this to the world? Not to your country, because in your country, the way he represents is the reaction to that is to make him more polarizing than I ever consider him. I don't think he should be as polarizing as he is. I'm really confused by the number of people who are insistent on diluting his excellence by degrees because they want him to be something better than what he is, which is only better than any of you are at anything. Any people criticizing him for what he is, none of you are as good at what you do as he is at what he does. That is, I can go across the globe on his critics, and I will find not a one, Stugotz, who can say they are as good at anything they do as he is at what he did.
I'm curious, Dan, do you remember the criticism of Jordan being as loud as you hear it for LeBron?
What I remember first is ball hog on him, and then after that, I heard a lot of why doesn't he use his power for anything other than selling sneakers?
Yeah, and because Republicans buy sneakers too.
Well, it was just that's as loud as selling out will ever be articulated by somebody in that position. Like
Right.
that is the very definition of, if you buy my sneakers, I will not use my power. That's what Michael Jordan got plenty of that. But I will tell you that the people not doing that his choice there, the reason he gets to be the icon that he is because there was no social media for those people to continue to tear him down. So you would hear everybody saying it, because it was not the media that was saying that about Michael Jordan. Like that would have been a whole lot of people saying, why doesn't he use his power in a better way? But this is why I say what LeBron navigated in these 20 years of we're always watching you and we're always there to criticize with cruelty is not something that existed before him.
Well, second place, because you asked the question, is on his own team, I think, Steph Curry. Steph Curry is that superstar who has come up without any faults, without any controversies. He also says nothing. He says nothing when it comes to the controversial subjects. He says nothing when you talk to him about, anything sort of negative ties to his church in North Carolina. He just doesn't say. He says what sounds like the right things, but he stays neutral right down the middle because he knows. And this is the thing about LeBron is if we, those critics, whomever you speak of, want him to be whoever it is, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or this very loud, outspoken person, they're just going to scream louder at him. They're going to disagree with his opinions, and they're going to make him seem more of a negative product, more of a negative result because of what he is saying, as opposed, they'd probably just tell him to shut up because you're dividing people. So playing it down the middle is one thing, but the thing I think, again, with LeBron is it doesn't seem like he's invested in a lot of these topics, and yet he's willing to answer them. And I think the best possible one or example of that was the China question. He sat in front of a microphone, he answered it. It was cringeworthy, and it was bad.
Also
and I think,
selling out, yes.
Yeah, and I think everybody will always hold everything he says and compare it to that. Is anything as good that he has said or done as cringeworthy as that was?
I admire LeBron on a lot of different levels, and he's not perfect, but this is a guy, when he's a teenager, they're calling him King James, and ESPN is televising his high school games. And he doesn't live up to expectations. He exceeds them. And he still is doing that at age 40 in the NBA and in Paris. And off the court, I think he has said plenty. I think he's stood up on societal and social issues dating way back to Trayvon Martin down here in Miami, or when he was in Miami. Izzy rightly gave flowers to the school he founded in Akron. What athlete does that? And it's thriving and it's important. And I think he's done plenty on and off the court. He doesn't have to be Muhammad Ali to be admired.
The part that I'm confused by, I really am.
J.J. Barea?
The part, other than J.J. Barea, the part that confuses me is that we would live in an ecosystem where being the fourth best of all time makes people scream at each other about, well, he's not Kobe, or like, I just don't understand the screaming at each other that diminishes his excellence because we need to put him fourth instead of second. Like, I don't know.
Get your tinfoil.
I'll go the rest of my life without understanding it. Why the need to put the bar in a place where you have to put somebody and tear them down from second place to fifth place because what?
Well, I think people are starving for someone who was like Muhammad Ali, an athlete that is willing to say anything about anything, whether it's here in the United States or internationally. And I think people view LeBron James as one of the guys who could do that if he got himself informed, that if he didn't care about selling sneakers, and he decided not to, and that was disappointing to people, Dan.
Stugotz, in terms of the power that gets squandered here, I agree with John Amici when he says, you tell me if you think this is wrong, that the power that LeBron James has, if he dedicated himself maniacally to ending world hunger, he could.
I mean, first of all, tell me something John Amici says that I don't agree with. All right, that's going to be the more difficult one. But yeah, I think with LeBron, I just look. Does he want to be this person? I don't think so. I think we see him more so even than Michael. He cares about what people think about him. He did not like all the booing. He wants to stay as neutral as possible on these subjects while he's playing, at least. After he plays, who knows? Maybe he lets out some more, political opinions, but as of now, he seems to be doing it the right way. And whether you say, other athletes will take that sort of a sacrifice and give up a little bit of their career, a little bit of their fandom just for these purposes, maybe he thinks there's plenty of time because 40, not that old.
In terms of ending world hunger, I get what you're saying, but so could Taylor Swift. So could Beyonce. So could Elon Musk. So could Bill Gates. I mean, it just takes money and a voice, and he has the voice more than the money, LeBron James. But I'm not going to fault him because he's not ending world hunger. You know what I'm saying?
Put it on the poll, Juju. Do you fault LeBron James because he's not ending world hunger?
It's a lot to put on someone. I mean, he's just one man.
Understood.
Dan, you really like that photo, didn't you?
Seems
like that photo has brought out so much in you.
I think the most important part of this is to remember, comparison is the thief of joy. And we're robbing ourselves an opportunity to celebrate this man because we keep comparing him to what people are so sensitive about. If we can just try to just put down the phones, put down your Twitter fingers, and let's just applaud LeBron for what he's actually doing.
Like right now?
Okay. I mean, yeah.
There you go.
Is he?
Don't celebrate too much. Don't celebrate too much. He hasn't won the gold yet.
That's right.
True that.
That's
true
right.
that.
Thank you, Jessica, for that proper bit of perspective. It's not the photo, Izzy. It's that I don't believe that we get very many chances in real time to appreciate history while we're a part of it. And I'm the thing that actually got my attention on this was seeing and hearing Dwayne Wade and Carmelo Anthony on their podcast sort of try and reframe how their careers could have gone if they'd made different choices, while the guy is still playing out there and they're well behind him, and they're the greatest I've seen. Like
on
they're
the Olympic team.
They're among the greatest I've seen. And because we've spent the last 20 years comparing him to the ghost of Michael Jordan, it just illustrates again and again that he has no peers. He's got no peers in the modern age, and I'd like that history appreciated now. We didn't allow Ali and Jordan this while they were coming up doing it. We only gave it to Michael after he won 6 in a row.
I think LeBron is the only reason I don't feel really old because he's still in the league. Like 2012 feels like yesterday.
Yeah.
I wanted to get to this earlier, and I failed to get to it earlier. So let me get to the expertise of Izzy Gutierrez and Greg Cody as it comes to the Dolphins, at least telling us publicly we have a quarterback for the next 4 years. We have been talking about the price tag on that for a while. I really thought it was unusual the way that the money became so important that Tua himself is going to a microphone and chanting to the crowd.
So weird.
Show me the money.
Really weird.
Athletes are so much better at hiding that usually, not saying the quiet part out loud, pretending that they care about other things more than that.
It's also going to be used against him if he plays poorly.
Oh,
I
well,
mean,
He's coming off of what? I mean, he's making $23 million million or something. It's not like he went from a minimum contract to fit. He was making, 8 figures already. That was kind of cringeworthy and a little shocking. And it kind of what my whole take on the Tua thing is, now we're going to know exactly what type of winning personality you have. Like, they showed a lot of his personality in Hard Knocks, and he's likable, lovable at times, but is he a guy that somebody's going to follow at this level? Because now all the pressure's on him.
He's a little goofy. He was way too excited about Christmas gifts.
Way too
the
excited.
Secret Santa, way too into the Secret Santa.
Yeah, he didn't serve himself well by chanting, show me the money.
How about you show me a playoff win?
Well, here's the thing. And when it says all the pressure is on him, okay, it's a pretty small sample, but he hasn't won in the playoffs. Granted, he's only been one of the 2 losses in the playoffs in his time. The Dolphins have lost 10 of the last 13 games in the past 2 regular seasons and playoffs, which is why they ended up blowing the East title and had to play a road playoff game. All of that
That's a great stat, by the way. The last 2 years, they're 3-10 down the stretch.
Yes, and all of them, to some extent, are on Tua. He's been injured for some of those 2 years ago, but still, all of the pressure is on him now. All of the money is on him, and all the pressure is on him. But the contract is better and better the more I hear about it. Okay, only $93 million of that total guaranteed money is fully guaranteed. That's 44% of the total. His salary cap, I hate the phrase salary cap because I usually don't delve this deeply into it. His salary cap hit, the contract was structured, is only $9.5 million this year, which means they can sign another guard, they can sign a defensive tackle, they can extend Javon Holland, they can rework Tyreek Hill. Chris Greer did a masterful job. It took too long to do it, but he did a great job with this contract in a way that works for both parties, the team and Tua.
You say it works for both parties, and I just want to ask this because I know that you celebrate this. You've been behind the Chiefs. Everyone's behind the Chiefs. You lost to the Chiefs in the playoffs last year, and their quarterback's cheaper. Do what with that? Their quarterback is cheaper. They have better value at quarterback than not just a better quarterback, they've got better value at quarterback. We're all doing salary cap games. We're all experts on it's fine that the Dolphins are the only team in the league that has 3 players on offense who are all guaranteed $70 million. How can that possibly come back to hurt anybody? The reason that he's this good, we agree, right? Is system and those 2 receivers, correct? Those
That's
2.
That's a big part of it, and a great running game, certainly.
System.
But this is the system he's in. In other words, if he's a free agent, I agree with what Mina Kimes said on this show. If he's a free agent, he's not probably as valuable. But he's in this system where he is the perfect fit. So you have to pay him in an exploding quarterback market that all of a sudden has the best quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, as maybe the 5th highest paid player.
My question to you is, you were behind Kansas City before this, when you had value at quarterback. How are you ahead of Kansas City?
And guys on defense, by the way.
But let's just isolate it here. The best window that they had to do all of this is when Tua was cheap. In a down year for Kansas City, after they had to pay their quarterback and lose the piece that Tua's eventually going to lose, lost Tyreek Hill because they had to pay Patrick Mahomes. That's how it happened. That happened to them, and you were behind them. You went to Kansas City, you lost to them. Now you don't have the advantages of having value at quarterback. Now you have a quarterback that you have to pay more than Patrick Mahomes is making. What do you do with that when you're not a player away and not a game away? When the championship runs through that quarterback every time and you're still behind them, and now it's more expensive to be behind them?
I don't have an answer for that, and I don't think the Dolphins do right now. I'm not going to make excuses, although there are a couple of reasons why they faded late. 2 of their best defensive players were out with late season really bad injuries from which they haven't recovered yet. Neither has played in this training camp. So injuries were a factor, but I have no other excuse for this team.
Greg,
I
have to trust the coach who swears this is the perfect, and he's a great coach, and he's a smart guy, who swears this quarterback is the best quarterback for his offense. He told us that before he even got started with this quarterback.
Right.
And now he has seen him for 2 years, and in 2 years, 54 touchdowns and 22 interceptions. That guy is going to get paid. He's going to get paid what Tua just got paid. And if you're McDaniel, you think to yourself, what's the team that has given the Chiefs problems over the years? It's been the Bengals with Burrow, Chase, and Higgins. I have Tua, I have Hill, I have Waddle. We could beat them one-game scenario.
Yes,
this is
I
why
agree.
they're in the sort of the comparisons, right? When you first get drafted as a quarterback, who do you get compared to? The people you got drafted with, right? And then those same people are likely, maybe one year apart, are going to be getting new contracts the same year as you get the new contracts. And so those are the ones you compare them to. The Patrick Mahomes problem I have is he has already separated himself. When his contract, whenever that's up, he's going to get whatever the heck he wants. He's going to be, should be the highest paid player in the game. What we are now doing is trusting, okay, hey, Mike McDaniel, if you say your system and those two receivers can then turn Tua into something close to where he's valuable at that number, then okay, we're good. The problem is we have not seen it. We've seen 1 year where he got a little bigger and led the league in passing, but to me, I see a bunch of, passes that are thrown pretty high. Receivers got to go up and get it. If you would maybe hit them in stride, maybe have more yards. Like, there's still things you can be critical of Tua.
Yes.
Do I think that automatically he is, even 2 years of improvement, good enough to win a Super Bowl? I don't think so yet. I don't know. And that's why the number is what it means. So it doesn't matter where he slotted to me. It just means, hey, was he worth this commitment, period? It didn't matter what number was. It's just if he is in this group, do we commit to this guy? Do we feel like he can win us a Super Bowl?
It's amazing how polarizing he is as a quarterback. I heard this on ESPN last night, guys discussing this. Why aren't we making a stink about Jordan Love's contract?
Well, some people are. Some people are surprised at the amount of money that he got.
I mean, the reason is, correct me if I'm wrong, the last time we saw Jordan Love, they were crushing
It's
Dallas,
a smaller sample size,
in a playoff
and he was
game.
impressive.
Right. Yes.
And so people fall in love right
But he
away.
won a playoff game on the road, right?
It's not just Jordan Love either. To your point, quarterbacks you don't think of as $50 million a year quarterbacks have gotten those deals.
Yes.
Trevor Lawrence, Jared Goff. I mean, you don't have to be Patrick Mahomes now to command that kind of echelon in salary. That's just the fact. That's just the way the NFL is right now.
I think the difference is with a guy like Tua, you pay that money, you say, okay, with Mike McDaniel, with Tyreek Hill, he can get us one. With Patrick Mahomes, it's every year you say we can win the Super Bowl this year.
Well, but that's what
with any receivers. Right.
No, but that's what the 8 games of Jordan Love was, though, because it ain't anybody out here saying that what they did in Dallas was because of anybody other than Jordan Love. Like, it's not. This is the thing that happens with Tua that doesn't happen with Jordan Love. If I tell you right now, take away some of these weapons. Now, what do you have? I think you're going to get a lot more doubt right now for Tua than you're going to get for Jordan Love.
Jordan Love was doing it with Romeo Doubs.
Yeah,
and
he's doing it in cold weather, and you see him do it outside of the pocket. With Tua, you have questions about him outside of the pocket, in cold weather. For Tua, it all has to be perfect. 3-step drop, get it out. And if it's not that, he becomes an average quarterback. So that's the difference.
I'll give you the movement, right? He's not great out of the pocket.
He's bad out of the pocket.
Maybe he's better at that now. That he's lost a little bit of weight. Wow.
It's his accuracy, though,
but it's that offensive line. He doesn't have the same offensive line Jordan Love does. Jordan Love can be comfortable back there. Tua has not only uncomfortable from the beginning, but then had 2 head injuries, and now is back, had a year where he can get some comfort back there, but he does not have the time that Jordan Love has.
That's overstated, I think. I think the offensive line the last couple of years has been fine. Like a few years ago, it was really bad.
It's fine for 2 seconds.
We got Armstead. Right. It's not great. But when Armstead plays and Connor Williams was in there, the offensive line has been fine the last couple of years.
Well, the quick release is for a reason. It's to protect Tua.
Yes.
And it's because the offensive line is untrustworthy.
But it's funny because in the second playoff game, the last thing we saw from Jordan Love was at San Francisco in a game in which they could have won. They were down 24-21. He threw an interception on the last play.
Okay,
and it was a bad one.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that should be how we define all quarterbacks. The last pass they threw. I believe we should agree. All of us should agree that if your last pass loses the game, you shouldn't get $55 million. That seems like a fair appraisal. Just the last thing all of us saw.
Put it in the CBA.
I want to get back to something that Cody said all of last week that actually offended me, and it took me a week to realize how offensive it was. You said that no disrespect to Michael Phelps, but he can't be the number 1 athlete in the history of American athletics if he's only in a sport that I give a shit about once every 4 years.
Right.
Your narcissism has never been more on display than saying an athlete can't be greater if he's not great when you're watching, because you don't watch all the other times he's competing outside of those 2 weeks that made him great to get to those 2 weeks.
Well, I'm representing all of sports fans, and in this case, all of American sports fans. I am the spokesman for the American sports fan, okay?
Yep.
You can't be in a fringe sport, meaning cricket. You know, cricket is played in the United States, but if you're the best cricket player in the United States, you can't be the best ever, if you're the best in that sport.
He is right.
You know, swimming is we care about, we as a country, not just me, care intimately about swimming once every 4 years.
Pick a stroke, am I right?
Yeah. Butterfly.
Get to the other side of the pool as fast as possible. Why do I have to do it now like a butterfly?
That's a good point.
Greg, you are saying.
What are you watching swim meets on regularly? You over there?
It's not.
He just said he doesn't even swim. It sinks like a rock.
The 200 fly in Dallas every year. I mean,
it is not that I am watching all swimming meets. It's that the narcissism involved in saying that an athlete can only be great if you happen to be watching. It's not even you happen to be watching. If you happen to deign to care enough as a lazy person who doesn't care about anything to not understand how that person competed in all sorts of world-class races for 4 years before getting to the 2 weeks you gave a shit about.
We weren't watching then.
No, that's fair.
You know, you got to perform when we're watching. And I'm not speaking just for myself. Again, I represent all American sports fans. You know, what's he doing the rest of those for 3 years and 50 weeks? What's he doing?
He doesn't get it. I mean,
being great at what he does.
Prove it. It's not on TV.
Yeah, he could be taking three and a half years off. And then he starts training just for 6 months before the Olympics.
It's all muscle memory, right, Greg?
It is on TV. It's just not TV you're watching.
Then it's pressure-free. We're not watching.
You're watching the CBS Sports Network.
Not Stugotz. Stop making this about how much swimming I'm watching. I'm not watching a lot of swimming. You have not boxed me in on anything.
Let's open up the phone lines. All the swimming fans across the country, give us a call. Give us the expertise.
Yes.
Non-Olympic expertise.
Yeah.
How are you so comfortable tearing down the greatness of others as if your greatness is such an amazing greatness?
First of all, I didn't say that. Second of all, when you begin the sentence with all due respect, you know, you're allowed to be critical.
Yeah.
You know, with all due respect, a bronze medal is pretty great, but it ain't gold.
Yep.
So don't act like it is.
All due respect is usually followed with a lack of respect.
I feel like it's almost the opposite. You can almost guarantee if someone has started a phrase with all due respect that what's coming after that is not respectful.
So end it.
Yeah.
End it with the phrase all due respect.
We're correct on this, right? This is not. Does it not put an antenna up for you when someone says with all due respect? They're warning you that disrespect is on the way. It's almost.
It's right around the corner.
It's almost. I don't know that there's another phrase like this in the American language that allows us to arrive where you're on guard now for this person.
No offense is good.
No offense.
Yeah.
You're
offense
wrong,
is
Dan.
coming, right?
No, with all due respect, you have to take a second and you have to take in the respect. You have to let it sink in so that when the other half of the statement comes, you're not as hurt, right? So with all due respect, Greg, and then you just give a long pause and just let them sort of feel good about it, and then you give them the bad news, and then they're just neutral again.
Right. Or you could be like incredibly accurate and say with all minimal respect or with all partial respect. But it just doesn't flow like with all due respect.
Right.
So you got to say due even though you mean partial.
Which one's better as a threat that the opposite is coming? No offense or with all due respect? Which one for you guys brings up the possibility that what is coming here I really need to be alert about because it's possibly offense and disrespect?
Yeah.
With
It's
all due
definitely no
respect. Really?
It's no
Wow.
offense.
I
Because
think
you're
it's no
about to
offense.
tell me something that I know I'm not going to like, but I have to be okay with it. No offense. I can't hold offense.
Yeah, it's a fine line, but I would rather be disrespected than offended.
No offense is used way more often, though. Like, people are more likely to
More
bust out
efficient,
no
though.
offense.
Yeah.
It's just like, no offense, blah, blah, blah. Where it's like, the other one is like, they are building up. And
Let's
I
try
know
this.
something's coming.
No offense, Stugotz. This camera angle is not great for you.
Okay, now try it the other way.
With all due respect, this is not a great camera angle for you.
See? No offense hurts more.
Let me hear no offense again.
No offense, Stugotz, this is not a good camera
That
angle
hurt.
for you.
Yeah, that hurt. That's hurtful.
It hurts more.
I just pulled out a
Take
random
it back.
example. By the way, that
Take it
wasn't
back.
something that I
Right.
had previously ever
Yes.
thought about.
Because you're saying on the front end that you have a modicum of respect, even though I know you don't. But I mean,
Well, I think the syllable count here on with all due respect brings us very slowly to the understanding a threat is coming. No offense happens too fast. No offense doesn't give me the warning I need, the cadence I need to prepare for the offense. But I do believe that you're right. When you say no offense to somebody, that I'm going to be offended, I believe is a stronger feeling than the feeling of a warning of disrespect.
Yes.
But I'm going to be offended by disrespect as well. Am I not? Am I not also going to be offended?
but normally they respect you.
Yeah.
It's with all due respect.
Right.
But not this time.
Let's see if I'm doing this right.
Yes.
All right, Greg?
Yeah.
With all due respect, you are the greatest columnist in Miami Herald history.
No, go sit in
not
the
right?
go sit in the
You
penalty
said something
box.
nice.
Go
Yeah,
sit
you
in the
said
penalty
something
box.
nice.
You don't.
Is that gonna
you're
get me
not-
to your party?
Respect,
You don't know how to
you're the
With all
worst.
due respect,
Yes,
Greg,
yes, yes.
there's been better columnists.
That's fair.
No offense, Greg,
No,
but
that's
there's
fair.
been better
Right.
columnists.
Right.
Which one hurts more, though?
When you say with all due respect, you got to wrap the disrespect in velvet. It has to be, you know what I mean?
I'm torn on this.
Yeah, I'm going back and forth.
The reason I'm torn. This is the reason I'm torn. You're on the front end, taking away my ability to be offended because you're nuking me on the front end by saying no offense, and now you're saying that you don't intend an offense, and if I get offended, I'm in the wrong. You're placing this on my lap.
No offense, I prefer Carl Hyacin.
Okay. So do I.
Now make it Dave Hyde.
With all due respect, Dave Hyde, he has better takes.
Yeah, we'll disagree on that. But with all due respect, you normally have a good opinion.
That was a good one.
He plays this game correctly. How does Izzy play it so poorly? I don't understand.
That was really bad by him.
I don't understand. He did it with such confidence.
With
too.
all due respect, you're a great columnist. He
Yeah,
should sit there forever, is he?
I know.
Forgive me for wandering too far from this. I have failed both myself and the audience in talking earlier about Connor Stallions and his documentary on Netflix, which I still have not gotten the opinions of the group on. I need more information on Jessica's. You said it was your grandmother at her 50th birthday
God, yes.
had a stripper called the Italian Stallion. Is this secondhand information? Did you happen to be there? Can you give us some more information on this?
Unfortunately, I've seen a lot of photos and videos from it.
And it was the Italian Stallion, a young man? Did he pop out from a birthday cake? Like what? Did he just knock on the door in a Speedo?
Or was it a horse?
Right.
It was a man. My grandma thought it was one of my uncle. the look that
was
Dan
that?
just gave you was.
Happy birthday!
This is where he starts.
Nay-nay.
This is what happens. After about,
Nay-nay.
we've got about 2 hours of Greg
Wasn't
Cody.
Jane Vance's birthday.
This is what happens. This is what as
My
he gets
grandma
older.
thought this man was one of her son's friends because he looked like, all the Italian cousins in our family. And then he started taking his clothes off, and then she grabbed his ass, and she talks about it every time I see her. It's like a horrifying thing. She's probably, I hope she's not listening to this. God.
Can we get the sound of Grandma Jessica being happy about getting flowers at home? Because there's something about this enthusiasm being around a 50-year-old exotic dancer that is something that I want to summon. Greg, what has been happening to you lately? Do you notice that once we get past 2 hours in on a live show on Tuesday lately, you get a little more delirious? Like you're doing your own show with more and more nonsense just spewing that you don't give any thought to? Have you noticed that that's happening?
The visual of a stripper being an actual stallion, a horse,
Right.
at a party for a 50-year-old woman is funny. You know, it's the Italian Stallion, literally. But no, to answer your question, I am not delirious. I'm as sharp as a carpet tack, and I feel fine.
How does that work? You have the horse coming in on 2 legs, dressed in something, wearing pants. Like, how does this whole thing work? Or is it just a horse being nude and not stripping, like taking
Right.
off
No,
its
he's
saddle?
packing
Yeah. A horse wearing pants would be really, really frightening to look at.
Would he be wearing pants on all 4 legs or just the back leg?
He's wearing a full suit, and then he disrobes himself. No, the horse is en natural, as most horses are. It saunters into the party, and then it starts, getting a little naughty.
It's naked coming
making
in.
moves.
Like a centaur?
it's
Yeah, right. Like a centaur almost.
I think if you agitate horses, they can actually get aggressive and humpy.
Oh my God!
It would be dangerous.
I was in St. Louis once on a junior college
Where's this
field
going?
trip. No, we were in St. Louis, and they took us. We happened by the Clydesdales in the Budweiser plant, and I saw an aroused Clydesdale, and I don't even want to go into details at the sight of what I saw. But let's
No
put it-
disrespect, Greg, but you don't have to finish this damn sentence,
Okay.
brother. No disrespect.
We know what you saw.
We'll all use our imaginations, but the point I'm making is a horse as a stripper in that role is not the strangest thing you've ever heard of. Let's leave it at that.
With all due respect, please continue.
Yeah, no disrespect meant. No offense meant either. Even though I just offended people.
To be clear,
Yeah.
it's just I want to understand everything that just
Yeah.
happened
Boom,
here.
chicka, boom, boom. That's what I'm talking about.
Baby!
Yeah, thank you.
Jessica's grandmother opens door,
Right.
and what is standing in front of her on two legs, two legs for her birthday,
Right.
Or 3.
is not merely a horse not wearing pants, because you said au natural, which means no saddle either.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
Aroused.
Yes.
Also aroused.
Yeah.
That's the image you wanted to conjure for us.
Yes. Fully engaged, fully engorged.
And you're not delirious.
Right.
You're fine. Sharp as a carpet tack.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Holy crap!